We'll be reading Mark by P.C. Cass and Kristen Cass, mother-daughter, starting with chapter 8, where we last left off. When we come where we seeing where Zoe Redbird will end up. The part of the house of the night house The part of the House of Night that housed the dorms was way across campus. So we had a fairly long walk, and Neffert seemed to be walking slowly on purpose, giving me plenty of time to ask questions and gawk. Not that I minded. Walking the length of the sprawling castle-like cluster building, with Neffert pointing out little details about what gave me a sense of the place. It was weird, but in a good way. Plus, walking felt normal. Actually, as odd as it sounds, I felt like myself again. I wasn't coughing. My body didn't ache. My head even had stopped hurting. I was absolutely, totally not thinking about the disturbing scene I accidentally witnessed. I was forgetting it on purpose. The last thing I needed was to have more to deal with than a new life and a weird mark. So blowjob forgotten. Deeply in denial, I told myself that if I hadn't been walking through a school campus at an ungodly hour of the night beside a vampire, I almost could pretend I was the same today as I had been yesterday, almost. Well, not even almost, but my head did feel better. And I was just about ready to face my roommate when Neffer finally opened the door to the girls' dorm. Inside was a surprise. I'm not sure what I expected. Maybe everything to be all black and creepy, but it was nice. Decorated in soft blue and antique yellow, with comfortable couches and clumps of puffy pillows big enough to sit on, dotting the room like giant pastel M&Ms. The soft gaslight coming from several unique crystal chandeliers made the place look like a princess castle. On the cream-colored walls there were large oil paintings, all of them of ancient women who looked exotic and powerful. Fresh cut flowers, mostly roses, set in crystal vases on end tables that were cluttered with books and purses with fairly normal looking teenage girl stuff. I saw several flat screen TVs and recognized the sound of MTV's Real World coming from one of them. I took in all of this fast, while I tried to smile and appear friendly to the girls who had shut up the instant I walked in the room and were now staring at me. Well, scratch that. They weren't exactly staring at me. They were staring at the mark on my forehead. Ladies, this is Zoe Redbird. Greet her and welcome her to the House of Night. For a second, I didn't think anyone was going to say anything, and I wanted to die of new kid mortification. Then a girl stood up from among the middle of a group that was clustered around one of the TVs. She was a tiny blonde and damn near perfect. Actually, she reminded me of a young version of Sarah Jessica Parker, who I don't like, by the way. She's just so annoying and unnaturally perky. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Welcome to your new home. The SJP lookalike smile was warm and genuine, and she was clearly making an effort to make eye contact instead of gawking at the darkened and Mark. Instantly, I felt bad for making a negative comparison about her. I'm Aphrodite. She says, Aphrodite. Maybe I haven't been too hasty in my comparison. How could anyone normal choose Aphrodite as her name? Please. Talk about delusions of gender. I plastered a smile on my face, though, and said a bright, Hi, Aphrodite. Never. Would you like me to show Zoe to her room? Never hesitated, which felt really odd. Instead of answering right away, she just stood there and locked eyes with Aphrodite. Then, just as quickly as the silent stare down had started, never Nefert's face broke into a wild smile. Thank you, Aphrodite. That would be lovely. I am Zoe's mentor, but I'm sure she would feel much more welcome if someone her own age showed her the way to her room. Was that anger I saw flash through Aphrodite's eyes? No. I must have imagined it, or at least I would have believed I imagined it if that weird new gut feeling of mine hadn't told me otherwise. And I didn't need my new intuition to clue me in that something was wrong because Aphrodite laughed, and I recognized the sound of it. Feeling like someone had punched me in the gut, I realized that this girl, Aphrodite, had been the one I just watched with the guy in the hall. Aphrodite's laugh, followed by her prayer. Of course, I'll be happy to show her around. You know, I'm always glad to help you, Aphrodite, who was as fake and cold as Pamela Anderson's humorous, huge boobs. But Aphrodite just nodded in response and then turned to face me. I'll leave you now, Zoe, Aphrodite said, squeezing my shoulder. Aphrodite will take you to your room, and your new roommate can help you get ready for dinner. I'll see you in the dining room. She smiled her warm mom smile at me, and I had the ridiculous, childish urge to hug her and beg her not to leave me alone with Aphrodite. You'll be fine, she said, as if she could read my mind. You'll see, Zoe Bird. All will be well, she whispered, sounding just like so much like my grandma that I had to blink hard not to cry. Then she nodded a quick goodbye to Aphrodite and the other girls and left the dorm. The door closed with a muffled sound. Oh hell, I just want to go home. Come on, Zoe, the rooms are this way, Aphrodite said. She motioned for me to come with her up the wide stairs that curved to our right. As we walked upstairs, I tried to ignore the buzz of voices that instantly erupted behind us. Neither of us spoke, and I felt uncomfortable that I wanted to scream. Had she seen me back there in the hall? Well, I was sure as hell wasn't going to mention it, ever. As far as I was concerned, it never happened. I cleared my throat and said, the dorm seems nice. I mean, it's really pretty. She cut her eyes sideways at me. It's better than nice or really pretty here. It's amazing. Oh, well, that's good to hear. She laughed. The sound was totally unpleasant, almost a sneer, and it crawled up the back of my neck like it had when I first heard it. It's amazing here because of me. I glanced at her thinking that she must be kidding and met her cold blue eyes. Yeah, you heard me right. This place is cool because I'm cool. Oh my god, what a bizarre thing for her to say. I don't have a clue how to respond to that stuck up piece of info. I mean, like, I need stress of a fight with slutty miss thinking she's all that added on top of a life species school change. And I still couldn't tell whether she knew if it had been me watching her in the hallway. Okay, I just wanted to find a way to fit in. I just wanted to be able to call this new school home. So I decided to take the safest road and keep my mouth shut. Neither of us said anything more. The stairs led to a large hallway lined with doors. I held my breath when Aphrodite stopped before one that was painted with a pretty light purple, but instead of nodding, she turned to face me. Her perfect face suddenly looked hateful and cold, and definitely not so pretty. Okay, here's the deal, Zoe. You have this weird mark, so everyone's talking about you and wondering what the fuck is up with you. She rolled her eyes and cluttered her pearls dramatically, changing her voice so that she actually sounded really silly and gushing. Ooh, the new girl has a colored mark. Whatever could that mean? Is she special? Does she have fabulous powers? Oh my, oh my. She dropped her hand from her throat and narrowed her eyes at me. Her voice went flat as mean as her gaze. Here's what's what. I'm it here. Things go my way. You want to get along here? Then you'd best remember, if you don't, you'll be in for a world of shit. Okay, she was starting to piss me off. Look, I said, I just got here. I'm not looking for trouble, and I have no control over what people are saying about my mark. Her eyes narrowed. Oh, crap. I was going to have to control actually fight this girl. I never been in a fight in my life. My stomach knotted up, and I got ready to duck or run or would not whatever would not get me beat up. Then, just as quickly as she got all scary and hateful, her face relaxed into a smile, and she turned back into a sweet little blonde again. Not that I was for good. Just so we understand each other, huh? I understood she'd forgotten to take her meds, but that was all I understood. Aphrodite didn't give me the time to say anything. With one last warm smile, she knocked on the door. Come on in, came a perky voice with an oaky accent, and Aphrodite opened the door. Hi, y'all. Oh my gosh, come on in. With a huge grin, my new roomie, also a blonde, rushed up like a little carnified tornado. But the instant she saw Aphrodite, her grin slid from her face and she stopped hurrying toward us. I brought your new roommate to you. There was nothing technically wrong with Aphrodite's words, but her tone was hateful and she was putting up a terrible fake Oklahoma accent. Stevie Ray Johnson, this is Zoe Redbird. Zoe Redbird, this is Stevie Ray Johnson. There. Now, ain't we all nice and cozy like all three little corns on a cob? I glanced at Stevie Ray. She looked like a little terrified little rabbit. Thanks for showing me up here, Aphrodite. I talked quickly, moving towards Aphrodite, whose automatically stepped back, which put her in the hall again. See you around. I closed the door on her as her look of surprise was just beginning to change to anger. Then I turned to Stevie Ray, who was still pale. What's with her? She's. Even though I don't know her at all, I could tell that Stevie Ray was struggling with how much she should or shouldn't say. So I decided to help her. I mean, we were going to be roommates. She's a dog, I said. Stevie Ray eyes went round and then she giggled. She's not very nice, that's for sure. She needs pharmaceutical help, that's for sure, I added, making her laugh some more. I think we're going to get along just fine, Zoe Redbird, she said, and stopped smiling. Welcome to your new home. She stepped aside and made a sweeping arm gesture at the little room like she was ushering me into a palace. I looked around and blinked several times. The first thing I saw was the life-size Kenny Ross Chesney poster that hung over one of the two beds, and the cowgirl hat that rested on one of the bedside tables. The one that also had the old-fashioned looking gas lamp with the bit shaped like a cowboy boot. Oh, Stewie was a total okie. Then she shocked me with a big hello hug, reminding me of a cute little puppy with her sharp curly hair and smiling face. So I'm so glad you're feeling better. I was so worried when I heard you hurt yourself. I'm really glad you're finally here. Thanks, I said, still staring around what was now my room, too, feeling totally overwhelmed and weirdly on the edge of tears again. It's kind of scary, isn't it? Stevie Ray was watching me with big, serious blue eyes that were filled with sympathetic tears. I nodded, not trusting my voice. I know, I cried the whole first night. I swallowed back my own tears and asked, how long have you been here? 3 months, and man, I was glad when they told me I was getting a roommate. She knew I was coming. You knew I was coming. She nodded. Oh yeah, Nefertiti told me day before yesterday that the tracker had sent you and was going to mark you. I thought you'd be here yesterday, but then I heard you had an accident and been brought to the clinic. What happened? I shrugged and said, I was looking for my grandma, and I fell and hit my head. I wasn't getting that weird feeling that told me to keep my mouth shut, but I wasn't sure how much I should say to Stevie Ray yet. And I was real relieved when she nodded as though she understood and didn't ask any more questions about the accident or mention my weird colored end mark. Your parents freaked out when you got marked? Totally, didn't yours? Actually, my mama was okay with it. She said Anything that got me out of Harinata was a good thing. Harinata, Oklahoma. I asked, glad to move on to a subject that was not all about me. Sadly, yes. Stevie Ray flopped on the bed in front of the Kenny Chesney poster and motioned for me to sit on one across the room from her. I did, and then felt a little jolt of surprise when I realized I was sitting on my own cool, hot, pink and green Ralph Lauren comforter from home. I looked at the little oak end table and blinked. There was my annoying, ugly alarm clock. Nerdy glasses for when I'm sick of wearing my contacts, and the picture of Grandma and me from last summer. And in the bookshelf behind the computer on my side of the room, I saw my Gossip Girls and Bubble series books, along with some of my favorites, including Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was more than a little ironic. Some CDs, my laptop, and oh my dear sweet lord, my Monsters Inc. figurines. How incredibly embarrassing! My backpack was sitting on the floor next to my bed. Your grandma brought your stuff up here. She's really nice, Stevie Ray said. She's more than nice. She's brave as hell to have faith. My mom and her stupid husband to get this stuff for me. I can only imagine the overly dramatic scene my mom caused us out. And then shook my head. Yeah, I guess I'm lucky. At least my mama was cool about all of this. Stevie Ray pointing to the outline of the crescent moon on her forehead. Even if my daddy lost every bit of his mind, me being his only baby girl and all. She shrugged and then giggled. My three older brothers thought it was awesome and wanted to know if I could help them get vampire checks. She just rolled her eyes. Stupid boys. Stupid boys, I echoed and smiled at her. If she thought boys were stupid and I would get along, she and I would get along. Mostly now I'm okay with all of this. I mean, the classes are weird, but I like them. Especially the Taekwondo class. I kind of like the kick butt. She grinned mysteriously like a little blonde elf. I like the uniforms, which totally shocked me at first. I mean, would anyone expect except the school like uniforms, but we can add stuff to them and make them unique, so they don't look like typical stuck-up, boring school uniforms. And there are some seriously hot guys, even if boys are stupid. Her eyes sparkled. Mostly, I'm just so darn glad to be out of Harinata that I don't mind all the other stuff, even if Tuscaloosa is kind of scary because it's so big. Tuscaloosa isn't scary, I said automatically, unlike some too many kids from our suburb of Broken Arrow. I actually knew my way around Tuscaloosa because thanks to what my grandma likes to call field tripping with her. You just have to know where to go. There's a great bead gallery where you can make your own jewelry downtown on Brady Street. Next door to that is the Lola's at the brewery. She has the best desserts in town. Treasure Street is cool too. We're not too far from there, actually. Actually, we're just right by the awesome Philbrook Museum in Uinta Square. That's some excellent shopping there, and I suddenly realized what I was saying. Did Vampire Cakes get to mingle with other kids? With regular kids? I searched my memory. No, I never seen kids with crest moon outlines hanging around them. Philbrook or Ultra Gap, a Banana Republican or Starbucks. I never seen them at the movies. Hell, I never even seen a vampire kid before today. So would they keep us locked up here for 4 years, feeling a little short of breath and claustrophobic? I asked. Do we ever get out of here? Yeah, but there are all sorts of rules you have to follow. Rules like what? Well, you can't wear any part of the school uniform. She broke off suddenly. Shoot, that reminds me, we have to hurry. Dinner is in a few minutes and you need to change. She jumped up to start rambling through her closet that was on my side of the room, chattering at me from over her shoulder the whole time. Never had some clothes delivered here last night. Don't worry about the size not being right. Somehow they always know what size will be before they actually see us. It's kind of freaky how the adult vamps know way more than they should. Anyway, don't be scared. I was serious before when I said the uniforms aren't as awful as you think they be. You really can add your own stuff to them, like me. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was wearing a pair of honest to God Roper jeans. You know the kind, those and kids wear that are way too tight and have no back pockets. How could anyone think no back pockets and tightness was cute? I honestly never understood. Stevie Ray was totally skinny. In the jeans, you made her butt look wide. I knew before I looked at the girl's feet what she was wearing. Cowboy boots. I glanced down inside. Yeah, brown leather flat heels, pony tip cowboy boots, tucked into her countrified jeans was a black long sleeve cotton blouse that had the expression look of something you find at Saks or Neiman Marcus. For instance, the cheaper see-through shirts that overpriced Abercrombie tries to make us believe aren't slutty. When she glanced over at me, I saw that she had double pierced ears with silver hoops in them. She turned and held in one hand a black blouse like the one she had on, a pullover sweater in another, and I decided that even though the country look wasn't for me, she was kind of cute with her mixture of hasty and chic. Here you go. Just throw these on over your jeans, and we'll be ready. The flickering light from the cowboy boot lamp caught on a streak of silver embroidery that was one of the breasts of the sweater she was holding out. I got up and took the two shirts, holding the sweater up so I could see the front better. The silver emblem was in the shape of a spiral that glared around and around in a dedicated sign that would rest on over my heart. It's our sign, Stevie Ray sign. Our sign, yeah. Each class here they call them third formers, fourth formers, fifth formers, and sixth formers. Has their own sign. We're third formers, so our sign is the silver labyrinth of the goddess Nyx. What does it mean? I asked more to myself than to her as I traced my finger over the silver circles. It stands for our new beginning as we start walking the path of night and learn the ways of the goddess and the possibilities of our new life. I looked up at her, surprised that she suddenly sounded so serious. She grinned a little shyly at me and shrugged her shoulders. It's one of the first things you learn in Vampire Sociology 101. That's the class Nephra teaches, and it sure beats the heck out of the boring classes I was taking at Harrow High, home of the Fighting Hens. Fighting Hens. What kind of a mascot is that? She shook her head and rolled her eyes while I laughed. Anyway, I heard Nephrite is your mentor, which is really lucky. She hardly takes on any new kids, and besides being high priestess, she's way the coolest teacher here. What she didn't say was that I'm not just lucky, I'm special with my weird colored in mark, which remind Stevie Ray, why haven't you asked me about my mark? I appreciate you not bombarding me with a hundred questions, but all the way up here, everyone who saw me stared at my mark. I forgot to mention it almost the second we were alone. You haven't even really noticed it. Why? Then she finally looked at my forehead and she shrugged and met my eyes again. You're my roommate. I figured you'd tell me what was up with it when you were ready. One thing growing up in a small town like Harrietta taught me is that it's best to mind your own business. If you want someone to stay your friend, well, we're going to be rooming for 4 years. She paused, and in the gap between the words that the big, ugly, unsaid truth that we'd be roommates for 4 years, only if both of us survived the change. Stevie Ray swallowed hard and finished in a rush. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want us to be friends. I smiled at her. She looked so young and hopeful, so nice and normal, and not at all what I imagined a vampire kid would be. I felt a little stirring of hope. Maybe I could find a way to fit in here. I want to be friends too. Yeah, yay for that. I swear she looked like a wiggly puppy again. But come on, hurry. We don't want to be late. She gave me a shove toward a door that sat between the two closets before she hurried over to a makeup mirror on her computer desk. She started blushing at her short hair. I ducked inside to find a tiny bathroom and quickly put on my BA Tigers t-shirt and put on my cotton blouse and over it the silk knot sweater that was a deep, pretty shade of purple with a little black plaid lines going through it. I was just getting ready to go back into the room to grab my backpack so I could try to fix my face and hair with the makeup and stuff I brought. When I glanced in the mirror over the sink, my face was still white, but it had lost that scary, unhealthy paleness it had earlier. My hair looked insane, all wild and uncombed, and I could faintly see the slim line of dark stitches just above my left temple, but it was sapphire colored mark that caught my eyes. While I stared at it, enchanted by its exotic beauty, the bathroom light caught the silver labyrinth umber over my heart. I decided that the two symbols somehow matched, even though they were different shapes, different colors. But then I matched them. And did I match this strange new world? I squeezed my eyes and tightly hoped desperately that whatever we're eating for dinner, oh please let there not be any blood drinking involved. Wouldn't disagree with my already screwed up nervous stomach. Oh no, I was to myself. It would be just my luck to get a raging case of diarrhea. Chapter 9. Okay, the cafeteria was cool. Dining hall. As the silver plaque outside the entrance proclaimed, it was nothing like at all like SIHS. Freezing cold, moderate cafeteria where the air conditions were so bad that even though I sat next to Kayla, I could hear what she was blabbering at me half the time. This room was warm and friendly. The walls were made of the same weird mixture of jetting bricks and black rock as the exterior of the building, and the room was filled with heavy wood picnic tables that had matching benches and padded seats and brick backs. Each table had about 6 kids, and ration radiated from a large unoccupied table seated at the center of the room that was particularly overflowing with fruit and cheese and meat, and of course a goblet that was filled with something that looked suspiciously like wine. Huh? Wine at school? What? The ceiling was low, and at the rear wall was made up of windows with a glass door in the center. Heavily burgeoning velvet drapes were pulled open so that I could see outside to a beautiful little courtyard with stone benches, vine paths, and ornamental bushes and flowers. In the middle of the courtyard was a marble fountain with water spouting from the top of something that looked an awful lot like a pineapple. It was pretty, especially lit up by the moonlight and the occasional unique gaslight. Most of the tables were already filled with eating, talking kids who glanced up, obviously curious with Stevie Ray and I's entry at the hall. Entered the room. I took a deep breath and held my head high. I might as well gave them a clear view of the mark. They all seemed so observant. What Stevie Ray led me to the side of the room that had the typical cafeteria service, handing out food from behind buffet style glass thingies. What's the table in the middle of the room for? I asked. It's this symbol attic offering to the goddess Nyx. There's always a place set at a table for her. It seems kind of weird at first, but pretty soon it won't seem so weird, and it'll feel right to you. Actually, it didn't seem that weird to me. In a way, it made sense. The goddess was alive here. Her mark was everywhere. Her statue stood proudly in front of her temple. I was also starting to notice all over the school little pictures and figures that represented her. Her high priestess was my mentor, and I had to admit to myself I had felt connected to Nyx. With an effort, I stopped myself from touching the mark on my forehead. Instead, I grabbed the tray and moved behind Stevie Ray in line. Don't worry, she whispered to me. The foods were good. They don't make you drink blood or eat raw meat or anything like that. Relieved, I unclipped my jaw. Most of the kids were already eating, so the line was short, and as Stevie Ray and I got up to the food, my mouth started to water. Spaghetti, I deeply with garlic. That whole vampires can't stand garlic thing is totally bullshit. Pardon my French, Stevie Ray was saying under her breath to me as we loaded our plates. Okay, how about the whole vampires have to drink blood thing? Not bullshit. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Just exactly what I wanted to hear. Not. Trying not to think about blood and whatnot, I took a glass of tea with Stevie Ray and then followed her to a table where two other kids were already talking automatically while they ate. Of course, the conversation totally stopped when I joined them, which didn't seem to faze Stevie Ray at all. As I slid into the booth opposite her, she made an introduction in her oaky twang. Hey y'all, meet my new roommate, Zoe Redbird. Zoe Redbird. Zoe, this is Ernie Bates. She pointed to the ridiculous, pretty blonde sitting on my side of the table. Well, hell, how many pretty blondes could one school have? Isn't there some kind of limit? Still in her matter-of-fact, oaky voice, she went on, making little air quotes from emphasis. Erin is the pretty one. She's also funny and smart and has more shoes than anyone I ever known. Erin pulled her blue eyes away from staring at my mark long enough to say a quick hi. And this is the token guy in our group, Damien Moslin, but he's gay, so I don't have to think he counts as a guy. Instead of getting pissed at Stevie Ray, Damien looked square in a row. Actually, since I'm gay, I think I should count for two guys instead of just one. I mean, in me, you get the male point of view, and you don't have to worry about me wanting to touch your boobies. He had a smooth face that was totally zit-free, and dark brown hair, and eyes that remind me of a baby deer. Actually, he was cute. Not in overly girly way so many teenage guys or when they decide to come out and tell everyone what everyone really knew. Well, everyone except the typical clueless and or in denial parents. Damien wasn't a shy, girly guy. He was just a cute kid with a likable smile. He was also noticeable trying to not stare at my mark, which I appreciate. Well, maybe you're right. I hadn't really thought about it like that, Stevie Ray said, through a bit of a bite of garlic bread. Just ignore her, Zoe. The rest of us are almost nowhere, Damien said. And we're desperately glad you finally got here. Stevie Ray's been driving everyone crazy, wondering when you get what you'll be like, and when you get here. If you be one of those freaky kids who smell bad and think being a vampire means seeing who can be the biggest loser, and included, or one of you being one of them, Damien said, cutting his eyes at a table at our left. I followed his gaze and felt a zap of nerves when I recognized what he was talking about. You mean Aphrodite? Yeah, Damien said, in her stuck-up flock of psychophants. Huh? I blinked at him. Stevie Ray laughed. You'll get used to Damien's vocabulary observation. Thankfully, this isn't a new word, so some of us actually know what he's talking about without having to beg him for a translation. Again, sycophant, a server flatterer. She twanged proudly like she was trying to give an answer in English class. Whatever, they make me want to retract, Aaron said without looking up from her spaghetti. They, the Dark Daughters, Stevie Ray and said, and I noticed she automatically lowered her voice. Think of them like a sorority of hags from hell, Aaron said. Hey, y'all, I don't think we should prejudice Zoe against them. She might actually get along with them. Fuck that. They're hags from hell, Aaron said. Watch that mouth, bear. You have to eat. You have to eat out of it, Damien said with a little primer, incredibly relieved that none of them liked Aphrodite. I was just getting ready to ask for more explanation when a girl rushed up with a big hug and slid herself and her tray into the booth beside Stevie Ray. She was the color of cappuccino, the kind you get from real coffee shops, not just the nasty, too sweet stuff you get from Quick Trip, and all the curvy with pouty lips and high cheekbones that made her look like an African princess. She also had some seriously good hair. It was thick and fell in dark, glossy waves around her shoulders. Her eyes were so black they looked like they both didn't have it. Okay, please, just please, did nobody, she pointedly at Eric, think about it to wake me up the hell up and tell me that what we were going to have for dinner. I do believe I'm your roommate, not your mama, Aaron said nasally. Do not make me cut that Jessica Simpson look-alike blonde hair of yours off in the middle of the night, the African princess said. Actually, the Constellation Way phrase that would be, do not make me cut that Jessica Simpson looking like blonde hair of yours off in the middle of the day. Technically, day is night for us, and so night would be the day. Time is reversing. The black girl narrowed her eyes at him. Damien, you are getting on my damn last nerve with that vocab shit. Sherry. Stevie Ray broke in her station. My roommate finally got here. This is Zoe Redbird. Zoe, this is Ernie's roommate, Shanique Cole. Hi, I said. Threw a mouthful of spaghetti when Shanique turned to glare at Ernie to me. So, Zoe, what's up with your mark being colored in? You're still fleeing, aren't you? Everyone at the hotel was shocked, silent by Shanique's question. She looked around. What? Do not pretend that every last one of you isn't learning the same thing. We might be, but we also might be polite enough not to ask, Stevie Ray said firmly. Oh, please, whatever. She shrugged off Stevie Ray's protest. This is too important for that. Everyone wants to know about her mark. There's no time to play games when good gossip is involved. Cherie turned back to me. So what's up with the weird mark? Might as well face this now. I took a drink of tea to clear my throat. All four of them were staring at me, waiting patiently for my answer. While I'm still feeling, I don't think I'm any different than the rest of you. Then I wrote something that I've been considering while everyone else had been talking. I knew that I was going to have to answer this question eventually. I'm not stupid, confused, maybe, but not stupid. And my gut told me I needed to say something besides the real story about my out-of-body experience with Nick. I don't actually know for sure why my mark is filled in. It wasn't that way when the tracker first marked me, but later that day I had an accident. I fell and hit my head. When I woke up, the mark was like it is now. I've been thinking about it, and all I can come up with is that I must have been at some kind of reaction to my accident. I was unconscious and I lost a lot of blood. Maybe that did something to speed up the darkening process. That's my guess, anyway. Huh? Sharon huffed. I was hoping it'd be something more interesting, something good and gossipy. Sorry, I muttered. Careful, twin, Ernie said to Shane, dragging her head at the dark daughters. You're starting to sound like you should sit over at that table. Sharon's face twisted. I want to be caught on dead with those bitches. You're confusing the crap out of Zoe, Stevie Ray said. Damien gave a long, sovereign sigh. I'll explain, proving once again how valuable I am to this group. Penis or no penis. I really wish you wouldn't use that P word, Stevie Ray said. Especially when I'm trying to eat. I like it, Ernie chimed in. If anyone called If everyone calls things what they are, we'll be at a lot less confused. For instance, when I have to go to the bathroom, I state the obvious. I have urine that needs to come out of my uterus. Simple, easy, clear. Disgusting, gross, cruel, Stevie Ray said. I'm with you, Twain, Shania said. I mean, if we talk plainly about getting things like urination and menstruation and such, life would be so much simpler. Okay. Enough with the menstrual talk while we're eating spaghetti. Damien had open hand like he could physically stop the conversation. I may be gay, but there's only so much even I can handle. He leaned toward me a lot with his explanation. First, Shania and Ern call each other twin because even though they are clearly not related, Ern, being an extremely white girl from Tulsa, and Cherie being of Jamaican descent and a lovely mocha color from Connecticut. Thank you for appreciating my blackness, Shanae said. Don't mention it, Damien said, and he continued smoothly with his explanation. Even though they aren't related by blood, they are freakishly alike. It's like they were separated at birth or something, Stevie Ray said. At the same moment, Ern and Shannon grinned at each other and shrugged. It was then I noticed they were wearing the same outfit, dark jean jackets with blonde golden wings emerald on the breast pocket, black t-shirt and low riding black socks. They even had the same earrings, huge gold hoops. We have the same shoe size, Ern said, sticking out her foot so we could see that she was wearing pony toe black leather stiletto shoes. And what's a little meaning difference when a truly so deep love of shoes is involved? Lifting up her foot, she showed off another pair of great boots. Only those were smooth black leather with a sharp silver buckle across the ankles. Next, Damien cut and rolled his eyes. The Dark Darters. The short version is that they are a group of made-ups, mostly upperclassmen who say that they are in charge of school spirit and such. No, the short version is they're hags from hell, Shannon said. That's exactly what I said, Twin, Ernie said. You two aren't helping, Damien said. Now, where was I? School spirit and such are promoted. That's right. Yeah, they're supposed to be this great pro-screw, pro-vamp organization. Also, it was assumed that their leader is being groomed to be high priestess, so she's supposed to be the heart, mind, and spirit of the school, as well as a future leader in vamps in society, etc., etc., blah blah. Think national martyr scholar in charge of the high society mixed with cheerleaders and band fags. She isn't. Hey, isn't it disrespectful to your gayness to call them band fags? Stevie Ray asked. I'm just using the word as a term of endearment, Damien said. And football players don't forget their dark sons too. Twin. It is actually a crime and a shame that such a seriously hot young lad got sucked in. And she does mean that literally, Aaron said with a naughty grin. By hags from hell, concluded Shana, hello, like I would forget the boys. I was just getting interrupted. The three girls gave him apologetic smiles. Stevie Ray, present, zipping her lips shut and throwing away the key. Ernest, Sharon, mouth dark at her, but they stayed quiet so Damien could finish. I noticed that they placed the words soft, making me think that the little scene I witnessed had been so unusual. But when the daughters really are is a group of stuck-up bitches who get off on lording power over everyone. They want everyone to follow them to conform to their freaky ideas of what it means to become a vamp. Most of us, the heat humans, and if you don't feel the same, they don't want shit to do with you. Except to give you a hard time, Stevie Ray added. I could tell from her expression that she must have first-hand knowledge about the hard time part. I remember how pale and scared she looked when Aphrodite had shown me to our room. I made a mental note to remember to ask her later about what had happened. Don't let them scare you, though, Damien said. Just watch your back around there. And, hey, Zoe, nice to see you again so soon. I didn't have any trouble recognizing her voice this time. I decided it was like honey. Slick and too darn sweet. Everyone at the table jumped, including me. She was wearing a sweater like mine, except over her heart was embroidered with silver silhouette of three goddess-like women, one of them holding what looked like a pair of scissors. She had a very short, pleated black skirt, black tights that had silver sparkles in them, and knee-high black boots. Two girls were standing behind her, dressed in pretty much the same way. One was black, with impossibly long hair, must be a really good weave, and the other was yet another blonde, who on closer inspection of her brows was probably a decided as much a natural blonde as I am. Hello, Aphrodite, I said, as everyone else seemed too shocked to speak. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, she said insincerely. You're not. We were just discussing the trash that needs to be taken out tonight, Ernest said with a big fake smile. Well, you would certainly know about that, she said with a sneer, and then purposely turned her back on Ernie, who was curling her fist and looking as if she might leap over the table at Aphrodite. Zoe, I should have said something to you earlier, but I guess it just slipped my mind. I want to issue an invitation for you to join the Dark Daughters in our own private full moon ritual tomorrow night. I know it's unusual for someone who hasn't been here long enough to be part in a ritual so soon, but your mark has clearly shown that you are, well, different than the average fleeling. She looked down her perfectly good nose at Stevie Ray. I already mentioned it to Nefer, and she agrees that it would be good for you to join us. I'll give you the details later when you're not so busy with, trash. She gave the rest of the table her tight lips, sarcastic smile, flipping her long blonde hair, and she and her entourage flirted off. Hag bitches from hell, Shanae and Ernest said together. I will read chapter 10 another day.